Hi, and welcome back to Conversations. We're here with Mr. Jay-Z of the Nelson Atkins Museum of Art. Thank you for being back with us. Now, one of the other acquisitions that you have under your belt is the purchase of golf carts. Yes. And you renamed them. So give us a little bit of backstory on that.
So, yes, I think it is perhaps one of those things I had not anticipated. And definitely as a museum director, I had never thought golf carts would be on the shopping list for us, more thinking always about antiquities or contemporary art. But what happened is that, and in a way, with the new expansion and with the redeployment of all the collections and the beautification of our campus, one of the things that has also come is the fact that it is 70% bigger than it used to be, the museum. So that comes, it's a great pride to have more space to deploy our collections, to show more art, to have it more engaging. But some people also feel that it is now quite a walk. And especially the new block building that descends a little bit. Sometimes we don't have all the visitors go all the way to our beautiful sculpture park. We have some Noguchi pieces that are just to die for. Very, very Zen space almost, with a little fountain. But we're seeing that we're not capturing that, and a lot of people then approach me and saying sometimes that it is difficult to go all out or come back after seeing a show. So in order to circumvent those objections or those people who cannot, we thought of how can we bring people in and out, shuttle them. And that's how the shuttle carts existed. And so this is, again, one of our generous patrons brought to the front. His inability to walk comfortably after seeing a show, back up. And he suggested that if we were come with a good idea, he might fund it. So Crosby Kemper is underwriting this experiment. We'll experiment for a year to see how it affects positively the visitorship. And if it does, then we'll carry on throughout. And we have invited also, so this is golf carts. So the first time I think any museum will ever have a golf cart, really ferrying people up and down and also in the old building so that people feel as comfortable as possible during their visit. Having said that, one of the things is that definitely a golf cart is not very attractive. So we invited a great artist, Peregrine Honig, to think and dream how to transform it. And we're right now working with her in transforming what looks like a golf cart into a magical thing that will take you like in your best dreams from one point to another. So it's an artist working with us very closely into making this an art piece that will have a functional purpose.
Okay.
So that's going to be fun.
So these are the shuttlecocks, right?
That is the shuttlecocks.
Okay.
And the title is a spun and also a fun on perhaps the signature piece of our collection when you visit the Nelson, or even when I was researching for this position and bought some city guides, many of them had the shuttlecocks in the front of the museum as the signature piece for the city. So shuttlecocks, shuttle carts, and it is funny that we are associated so much with that piece by Kleis Oldenburg, who's a genius. And who used then the old building as if it was a net. So the metaphor is that it's like giants playing badminton across the building. So you have some shuttlecocks on one side of the lawn, some on the other. So that is part of that.
Very interesting.
And as you know, we're always interested in sports too.
Right. And I was going to tie that in with your your current exhibit there.
Yes.
And that is the you wanted to create or nurture the relationship with sports, of course, through the acquisition of the James Naismith's original rules of basketball. And in your words, you named it as the birth certificate in that sport.
Exactly. Well, what I realized upon coming here and being part of this community is the real passion that there is behind our teams. And whether it's the Chiefs, whether it's the Royals, but especially basketball. So that's when I understand also we have three great teams in this city or in this metropolitan area. And witnessing that and having gone with David and Suzanne Booth, who acquired those rules of basketball to see a game at the Field Allen House, it was amazing. And I saw the energy and everything. And they just had acquired that, and all of a sudden they came to our minds is like, why don't we show it to the public in the setting of a universal encyclopedic museum? And it may be not the natural thing, you know, because there's sports museums, and also in the field house there's a museum devoted to the art of basketball. But it so happens that on the one side, this is a document of creativity, a document of the ingenuity and the talent of someone inventing. And as I said, the birth certificate of something that now is global, you know. And Naismith was amazing insofar that he lived through seeing the creation of his game in 1891 to see it in the 1936 Olympics being played as an Olympic game. So that tells you how quickly it went. But in any case, having those documents there, those 2 pages, very humble at the same time, but it just tells you the spirit that there is. And our attendants have loved it. I mean, people are visiting. So people who are not naturally museum goers have discovered the museum through that. And our museum goers have discovered also the art and talent that there can be in a sport and everything behind it. But a funny anecdote also is, as we were researching, the signature piece that we just mentioned, the Claes Oldenburg shuttlecocks, in one of his drawings, and we have them right now on display so people can see the connection, he first thought of a basketball and a basket. And so the basket is the orange, and so in the shuttlecock is the orange. And so you see one idea metamorphosing into what it really became. So from basketballs to birdies, it was already there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, I've rode past there a million times, and I've seen that display, and I'm thinking, what was the meaning behind that? So.
Oh, and it was very controversial at the beginning, those shuttlecocks outside, and now they're part of the city. And you know, it's the same thing with the block building.
When you say controversial, what do you mean?
Well, there were people that didn't think that it was appropriate, and you know, it's an artist, Claes Oldenburg, that is so playful. He's a pop artist, so in the same generation as many others that were using things from everyday life and transforming it into art. And so some people still, you know, why did Warhol do a Campbell soup? That is not art. Well, today we've grown to love all that, and I think our shuttlecocks is the same thing. When they were first installed, there was a lot of community uproar, and the same people now love it, you know.
Okay.
I had someone call in the other day and commenting on some of that. It is very typical of our community, you know, that they hate something and then love it. The same would be true for the block building. As we were building it, there was a lot of resistance, and now that it is up, everybody loves it, and of course it glows in the night.
And it's gotten rave reviews. I've seen that.
Totally.
Tell us about the Ford Learning Center.
That is also part exactly of our expansion. The Ford Learning Center are classrooms in which we bring children from all the school districts around us to first see in the flesh, I mean, a real object, you know. And there's nothing like seeing an incredible masterpiece. And today, with all the technologies, whether it's television or the internet or the computer, we have access to a lot of things. But that is just an appetizer. When you really see a big painting by Manet, like we're going to be showing now, a triptych by Manet, you're just in awe of thinking that a man, and that is 100 years ago, was painting and transforming what he saw with his eyes. And you have pictures of that into a poem almost. Or 5,000 years ago, people believing in different kind of gods and sculpting the stones like in Egypt to represent what their beliefs were. So what a museum does is take you to all those kind of experiences. And I think what's great is that our children have that opportunity, and so they go visit the museum, and then they go to the Ford Learning Center with our great docents and our great art teachers, and they do something. So they, for instance, my daughter was recently in one visit about China around the Chinese New Year, and so then they went back to their classrooms and did some dragons and some rabbits, because I think we're in the year of the rabbit. So, but they were doing with clay. Imagine the pride when she comes back home and she explains what she was doing and everything. And of course, those are the transformative moments. And the kids, you know, that don't have that many opportunities sometimes to engage with art, they see and see it in a different light, because art, there's never a wrong or right answer, you know, it's just what you feel. And so sometimes then these kids are bringing their parents back after they come and visit. So the Ford Learning Center is accomplishing a very important role of our mission.
I think that's what I love the most about art, is that there's no right or wrong answer.
Oh, there's never. No, and that is something that I'd love to share with all of you that are watching us today, is that the reality is the museums are, sometimes people don't know how to go to a museum. I mean, it's just like, should we already know the things we're going to look? And actually, it's not. It's about just enjoying a casual stroll in an indoor environment that is safe, in which anything you think is right, and there's emotions, there are sometimes things remind you of things, sometimes things disgust you also, like, why did they do this, so, but all of that is telling you what is your comfort level, things that are provoking your thought, and sometimes if you're with friends or with your family and everything, the conversations that appear through the excuse of art, because you're confronted with something that is not your normal, are very interesting. So,
Okay.
And the time in which people would say, oh, the museum has to be silent or no one talk, is dead. That is bygone. It's a place where to talk, to have conversations. One of the greatest things we've introduced is that...
Let me take a break real quick.
Yes.
We'll be right back with that thought.
And
I promise.
I'll tell you about the new technology to discover the Nelson, of course.
We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.